Most people think the 1% work harder than everyone else. They don't. They think differently than everyone else. While the 99% are reacting to life, the 1% have already anticipated it, already positioned for it, already made the move before you even saw the board. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how they think and how you can too. Let me ask you something. When a problem shows up in your life, what do? Most people scramble. They react, they put out one fire and wait for the next one to start. They work hard, stay busy, and wonder why nothing is really changing. That's not a work ethic problem. That's a thinking problem. The 99% move through life like someone playing checkers, one square at a time, only thinking about the move directly in front of them. No plan, no positioning, just reaction. And the scary part? They don't even know they're doing it. I want to tell you about Jack. Jack was an absolute workhorse. At his company, nobody outworked him. First one in every morning, last one to leave every night. He volunteered for extra projects, met every deadline, never complained. For 3 years straight, Jack gave that job everything he had. And for 3 years straight, he was passed over for every promotion. He watched people get elevated above him and couldn't understand why. He started to believe the system was rigged, that it didn't matter how hard you worked, that maybe he just wasn't meant for more. But then he paid attention to someone he'd been ignoring, his colleague, James. James didn't stay late. James wasn't the loudest in the room. James didn't run around looking busy. In fact, if you watched James on the surface, you'd think he was coasting. But Jack started to notice something. James was always in quiet conversations with the right people. James had somehow learned a new skill set 6 months before the company announced they needed it. James had built a reputation in rooms Jack didn't even know existed. James wasn't working harder than Jack. James had simply looked at the board and decided what position he needed to be in before the opportunity arrived. While Jack was grinding move by move, day by day, James had already seen the promotion 18 months before it happened. He'd already made the moves. By the time the decision was being made, it was never really a competition. Jack wasn't losing because he lacked talent. Jack was losing because he was playing checkers in a chess game. So what does thinking like the 1% actually look like in real life? It comes down to 5 principles. Principle 1. Control the center. In chess, whoever controls the center of the board controls the entire game. In your life, the center is your time, energy, and focus. The 1% are ruthless about this. They don't let other people's urgency become their priority. They decide what matters most and they protect it. Ask yourself, who is currently controlling the center of your life? Is it you? Or is it notifications, other people's opinions, and distractions you never consciously chose? Principle 2. Every piece has a purpose. A grandmaster never moves a piece without intention. Every move serves the bigger strategy. The 1% live the same way. Every habit, every relationship, every decision, they ask, does this serve where I'm going? They're not cold people, they're just intentional ones. Stop collecting habits, commitments, and relationships that have no place in the life you're trying to build. Principle 3. The sacrifice move. This one is uncomfortable. In chess, sometimes the winning move looks like a losing move. You give up a powerful piece not because you're losing, but because the position you gain is worth more than what you gave up. The 1% understand sacrifice deeply. They give up comfort now for freedom later. They say no to good opportunities to stay ready for great ones. They take the move that confuses everyone around them because they can see farther ahead. What are you holding on to right now that's actually keeping you stuck? Principle 4. Study the board. Grandmasters don't just play, they study. They know patterns. They understand their opponent. They know their own weaknesses before anyone can exploit them. The 1% invest heavily in self-awareness and knowledge. They study the industry they're in. They study the people around them. Most importantly, they study themselves. You can't win a game you don't understand. Principle 5. Never play emotionally. This might be the most important one. The fastest way to lose a chess game is to start playing out of panic, ego, or frustration. The moment emotion takes over, strategy disappears. The 1% feel pressure just like everyone else. They face setbacks, disappointments, and fear. But they have trained themselves to pause before they react, to come back to the strategy, to not let a bad moment become a bad decision. Emotions are information, not instructions. Jack eventually figured it out. It took him longer than it should have, but he changed how he played. He stopped measuring success by how busy he was and started measuring it by how well he was positioning himself. He started thinking in months and years instead of days. And slowly, the board started to look different. Here's the truth. You might be the hardest working person in every room you walk into, and that still might not be enough if you're not thinking ahead. The 1% aren't smarter than you, they aren't luckier than you. They've just learned to look at the full board while everyone else stares at the piece in front of them. So let me leave you with this question. Are you making moves, or are you making the right moves? Because in this game, it's not the busiest player who wins. It's the one who already saw the ending before the game began. If this hit different, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to start thinking like the 1%, stick around. We're just getting started.